Joe DuBois is a 36-year-old attorney who's been an island resident since 2010. He's a Citadel graduate, class of 2000, with a civil engineering degree before going to USC Law School, and is now a partner in the law firm of Naert DuBois. Joe, welcome to WHHI.
Thank you so much for having me.
We told all of the candidates for mayor that we would ask them the same basic questions with the opportunity to divert a little bit. Why are you running for mayor?
Well, over the last 4 years, I've been following the goings-on in the town, mainly through the Island Packet and other publications and your news program. And I've noticed a trend, and it's not a good one. I've noticed that there's been a lot more corruption and overdevelopment and a fundamental lack of leadership, especially from the mayor's office, that have led to these problems. So I thought it might be time for a change and to give the people of this community a chance at someone new.
Okay, what makes you uniquely qualified to be that leader?
Well, I think to be a successful mayor in Hilton Head requires certain characteristics that are found lacking with our current mayor. First and foremost would be principled integrity. That is, putting above the community, above yourself and those interests of your friends and political benefactors. I think that's one thing that's very important. I also think a fair amount of determination. I think it's very important that the mayor stick to a plan and to see it through. The other thing that I would suggest is important is a certain amount of fortitude. There have always been in this town competing interests between developers and residents, different factors play into that. So I think it's important that the mayor have some amount of fortitude to be able to stand up for the program that he or she would implement to see it through. And that's something that I think the current mayor lacks as well.
Okay, with that as a background, what should Hilton Head's priorities be over the next couple of years?
Well, I have three fundamental plans for Hilton Head when I'm elected mayor. The first would be we have to have responsible tourism. It's paramount on an island like Hilton Head that derives so much benefit from its tourism industry. When we spend so much money to bring visitors here from all over the country and even internationally as well, it's incumbent upon us to make sure that once those visitors arrive, that they be treated fairly and responsibly. We have to not only bring them here, but keep them coming back, and so we need to implement programs that allow for that. The second thing that I would suggest is that we need sustainable development, that we need to have some plans in place that project into the future. We have to have development that looks forward, and what do I mean by that? I mean that we need to emphasize conserving our resources and our environment to the extent possible. We don't need to overdevelop this island because it's short-sighted. We will very soon have a different community that doesn't attract anybody. We also need to focus on having affordable housing on different parts of the island in order that our community grows both with the retired demographic as well as the younger families that we want to see come to the island. The third part of my platform would be that we need to have economic preservation and promotion. And that means that we need to take a very close look at our expenditures and cut out anything that's just gratuitous or corrupt. We don't need to be spending money unwisely in this economy.
All right, let's talk current issues that are facing the town. The apartment buildings at Shelter Cove Town Center. Your thoughts?
I think that's another example of a misstep, and here's why. When you talk about preserving Hilton Head as a community, keeping it to be a wonderful place for everybody to come live and to visit, one of the most important things is the trees. That's what originally brought Charles Frazier here in the mid-1900s, is the trees. So any kind of a development plan that decimates an area of land as far as the trees go has to be more closely looked at. I also understand that there's going to be a 400,000-foot condo complex on our largest tidal creek. That's a non-starter, if you ask me. Okay,
the new USCB campus in the Office Park area of town.
Yeah, I support generally the idea of educational programs and certainly educational improvements in the community. I think that the location of that one is less than ideal. And that's an area of the island that's already oversaturated with traffic and already has too many problems during the summer. It's very, very difficult to get around the Sea Pine Circle. I like the idea, but I just question why it was located in that particular place when we have many other areas of the island that would be much more suitable.
And lastly, and just briefly, the expenditure recently on the Chamber's Tourism smartphone app. Good buy, bad buy?
Terrible buy. That's a terrible, terrible buy. And I question why it was done in the first place. As I understand it, the designated marketing organization's goal is to bring people to the island. It's not, once people arrive on the island, to direct them to certain businesses over others. What that actually would do is it would force local businesses to participate in the chamber. That's not the goal of the designated marketing organization of Hilton Head. It's to bring people here. Once they're here, it's not to direct them to favored businesses.
Okay, some very interesting perspectives. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you so much.
Good luck next week.
Thank you.